God has been on my to-watch list for quite a while. I finally got round to it, and I'm pleased to say I rather enjoyed this. This was released in 1977. It's directed by Carl Reiner. It's written by Larry Gelbart, based on Oh God by Avery Corman, with a cast including John Denver, George Burns, Teri Garr, Donald Pleasence, and various others. We have a great cast here, of course, and I love the premise. This really appealed to me as a concept, and I'm so happy with the execution. God visits Jerry and asks him to be his messenger in contemporary society. Contemporary in the 70s, of course. And Jerry believes him pretty quickly. God manages to convince him that, he's not just hallucinating, he is God. And Jerry does believe him quite quickly. But in order for Jerry to be an effective messenger, he's going to have to try and convince other people that he spoke with God. And needless to say, that's not going to be very easy. And we have various responses to Jerry as he starts to tell his story. And I think those responses, for the most part, feel very believable. It was very easy to buy into the story. The narrative itself, I absolutely loved. I think the pacing was great, the progression of the narrative, everything about the story for me worked really, really well. Jerry is very likeable, and I think the way God as a character was presented was believable within the film. Before watching it, had you asked me to close my eyes and picture what God was going to look like, I probably wouldn't have pictured this, but God in this does actually explain that he is presenting himself in a form that is easier for Jerry to accept. So we do get an explanation of why he looks like, well, just everybody else walking around, really. So, again, it's not necessarily what I would have imagined, but we get an explanation, and it does actually make sense, so I don't have any issues there at all. We have some really good pacing of the narrative. It flows really well, generally engaging from start to finish, partly because of the good writing, the narrative writing, and partly because of the well-written characters with great performances. The comedy aspect works well as well. It's not laugh-out-loud funny. I certainly wasn't expecting that to be the case, but there are times when it's quite light and quite amusing, and I think it has a nice balance there. We are dealing with, I guess, some pretty heavy topics at times, but it does a good job of making them light enough that the film's not just depressing while being engaging and having some serious moments, but still being light enough to be enjoyed as a comedy. It isn't preachy, in my opinion, but there are still some solid messages. I don't know if you need to have faith to enjoy it or not. There are a lot of spiritual films, religious films, where it's very obvious that unless you have faith, you're probably not going to like it. It's very preachy, it's very in your face. But with this one, I don't know. I think you could enjoy it, even if you don't have any kind of religious or spiritual faith. I think you could still get some strong takeaways and still enjoy the comedy and enjoy the characters. But obviously, if you do have faith, then I think it will be a slightly stronger experience. But again, as I said, I don't think it's that preachy, and there's still some really important messages that apply nevertheless. Looks great, with great lighting and camera work, great locations, good use of sound. I thought Oh God was a really enjoyable film. I had high hopes for it because it sounded exactly like my kind of story, and it delivered with the narrative, the characters, the performances, the visuals, the tone. Everything about it was just exactly what I hoped it would be. Oh God is a delightful film, and needless to say, I'm very happy to recommend it.